Brought to you by Kellogg's, the folks who bring the best to you each morning. A wide choice of cereals in the forms you like best. Yours from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line?
And now let's meet our award-winning panel of What's My Line. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And on my left, a brilliant actor who is absolutely laden with laurels. Earlier in the season, he won the Tony Award for his acting. Just this last week, he won the Drama Critics Award. I'm very happy to present Mr. Martin Gabel.
On my left, the most photographed woman in the world, who's about to start a new picture for 20th Century Fox called A Summer World, Miss Suzy Parker.
On my left, the world's most glamorous publisher, Bennett Cerf.
Just when I came in this evening, I was handed a fan letter that I thought you might like to hear. It comes from a girl called Snoony Lou Herlock of Federalsburg, Maryland. And it says, that panel moderator daily of yours is a mighty handsome chap, but why does he clam up all the time and never say a word? Can't you and Miss Kilgallen make him talk once in a while? Well, we'll do our best tonight, but he's just climbed the Statue of Liberty, and he's puffing quite a bit. Mr. John Charles Daly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to What's My Line. Miss Parker, it is nice to have you with us. As I dare say you all know, Arlene has gone off to Europe to make a picture, and we're fortunate to have Miss Parker with us tonight in the panel, and Mr. Gabel here to represent the family of the Gabels, Arlene being his good bride and busy over in the far country. These amenities having been observed, we'll get up to our old tricks and give the panel as much trouble as we can tonight with some very interesting occupations, some nice people who brought them to the theater. We'll also have a famous mystery challenger before the panel a little bit later in the program, and we'll meet our first contestant after. And now let's meet our first contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Thomas Kinsella, right? Where are you from, Mr. Kinsella?
Rapid City, South Dakota.
Rapid City, South Dakota. I think, panel, that you should also know that Mr. Kinsella attends as a full-time student Carroll College in Montana, right? Helena, Montana, is it?
Right.
And what we're talking about tonight is the summer occupation with which I dare say you make some of that green stuff that keeps you in college, right?
Very pleasant.
Fine. Well, may I present the panel, Mr. Kinsella?
I do.
Now, will you join me over here? Do you know how we keep score?
Yes, sir.
In that event, let's let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. Panel, we can tell you that Tom Kinsella is salaried and he deals in a service, and we'll begin the general questioning with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Mr. Kinsella, do you work for a profit-making organization?
Yes, sir.
If members of this panel were in the vicinity of South Dakota or wherever you work, could we enjoy your services?
I hope so.
May I assume that there is no product involved?
There's a problem.
Is there any product involved?
Oh, no.
That's
Then
right.
that's
You
a
may
yes.
assume that there is no product involved.
Do you work indoors?
No.
That's 1 down and 9 to go. Mr. Gabel.
Did I understand, Mr. Kinsella, that you do your work in Montana during the summer?
No, he attends Carroll College in Helena, Montana in the winter. He works in his own home countryside.
Thank you. Well, you're giving me a pass on that foolish observation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Is there something physical in what you do during the summer, Mr. Kinsella?
Yes, sir.
Are there any animals involved in what you do?
Yes, sir.
Are they four-legged animals?
Yes, sir.
Are they, insofar as your services are concerned, green?
What?
At green, that is to say,
In color?
are they novice sort of animals at what their ultimate function will be when you address yourself to them?
Oh, man. Arlene, come back from Europe and talk to Martin.
Well, I mean, you have to break horses and so on. I don't see that that's so abstruse.
Surely funny.
Why, John.
Martin, this gives us a bit of trouble, actually. I mean, what you're inquiring to here, I imagine, is the degree of training that the animals might have is in the performance of the duties with which they might be connected in connection with the functions which Mr. Kinsella performs?
John, I aim to please. That's been my basic function in life. Whatever answer you want, I will give
Well,
you.
let us put it this way. I think that the question is well taken.
Thank you.
And I wish I had a ready answer for it.
Therefore, may I pass on to another?
Why don't you just pass on it? Because it'd be very difficult to give you a completely honest answer to that question.
Thank you, John. Am I right in thinking that you do your work, Mr. Kinsella, with these animals, basically not before a large audience?
No, not a large audience, I wouldn't say.
Do you do most of your work? Do these animals, after you're through with them, work
No.
before large groups?
No.
Well, now, you see, here we are again in the relative area. And I think just to avoid confusion, because the issue of whether the audience is
And you'd like to get rid of
large
me at
or
this point,
medium is, I think, a relative
Right.
factor here, and that we would consider the audience substantial at any normal time under the circumstances in which we find Mr. Kinsella when he is performing the service in which we are also...
John, I am perfectly prepared to bow to the rod with no explanation. Thank you.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Parker. But what I meant to convey there is that the issue of audience has now been proven by Martin. An audience is present. Its size is not necessarily germane. Miss Parker.
Mr. Kinsella, do these animals benefit by what you do?
No, I wouldn't say so. No, ma'am.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Sir.
Mr. Kinsella, are the animals in a comatose or even extinct condition when you're finished with them?
No.
Extinct condition.
Do you kill them?
What do you think he's, a magician?
They're still
Mr.
alive.
Sir?
They're still alive after you've toyed with them. Is that right?
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mr.
How to
Kinsella,
be extinct in 1 short, easy lesson in 1 minute.
Mr. Kinsella, when you come in contact with these animals, are they alive?
Yes, ma'am.
Are they domestic animals?
No.
That's 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Do you tame wild animals?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Miss Parker.
Do you wear a uniform when you perform this service?
Yes, I do.
Is this uniform necessary to protect you from the animals?
No.
7 down and 3 to go, Mr. Sir.
Mr. Kinsella, when you are doing what you do with these animals and people are watching you, do they pay admission for the purpose, for the privilege of seeing these animals and you?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Might it be some kind of an animal farm or fair or zoo?
Yes, I would say so.
In a way, but we take this very generally, Bennett.
Yes. Well, then, there is a certain type of animal that you put through its paces while people watch. Is that correct?
Yes, I would say so, yes.
And are we to determine what animal that is? Is that
Good
the idea?
show. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Does the animal bear any fur, Mr. Kinsella?
No.
8 down and 2 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
4-legged and no fur. Does it have what you would call a hide?
hasn't got a hide.
Yeah, it's got
Any hair?
No.
No hair. That's 9 down and 1 to go, Mr. Gabel.
I'm a city fella, John. I passed to Miss Parker.
Miss Parker?
Is it an elephant?
An elephant?
Well, an elephant's got hair.
Elephant. That's 10 down and no more to go. Actually, Tom Kinsella is an alligator wrestler.
Oh.
He wrestles alligators. At the Black Hills Reptile Garden.
Where do
in
you
Rapid
get
City.
alligators in the Dakotas?
Well, in the wintertime, we take them downstairs into a thermostatically controlled pool in which they survive the cold weather.
Then you wrestle them.
I wrestle during the summer.
You go to college for that?
Yes.
He goes to college on this, not for this. Well, I must say, this is quite an occupation for a young man of your tender years, but I dare say you have all of the prowess necessary for it. Doesn't it frighten you? Have they got big jaws and things like... I remember reading about alligators, and they're not supposed to be the best wrestling companions.
Don't they ever win? Do you ever lose, Mr. Kinsella?
Just once. They've won just once.
What happened
That's all
then?
they have to win, yeah.
I had 21 holes in my hand, dislocated my thumb, and smashed a nerve. And I was real lucky. I was very lucky.
That's all. It's a dangerous occupation. Thanks very much. Well, I must give you credit, panel. You came right down to the line on that, and given enough time, I think, and a few more points, you'd have identified the animal. But let's see what we can do with the second challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? Betty Turnbull, right? Is it Miss or Mrs. Turnbull? Mrs. Turnbull, and where are you from?
New Orleans.
New Orleans. May I present our panel? And will you join me over here? Do you know how we keep score, Mrs. Turnbull? Fine, then we'll let the audience here and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Mrs. Turnbull is self-employed, deals in a product, and we'll begin the general questioning with Martin Gabel.
Mrs. Turnbull, New Orleans, as we know, is one of the great ports of the world. Does your product have anything to do with the sea?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Parker.
Is it a product that can be found in the home?
Yes.
Would it be found in any particular room?
Not necessarily.
Small confidence. I think Mrs. Turnbull agrees with me that we would say that it is likely that you would find it in one part rather than another in the main. So you go ahead, Miss Parker.
Is it a product that you could pick up?
Yes.
And could you step on it?
You could.
Would it be likely to be found in... Is it a manufactured product?
Yes.
Is it made of metal?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Sir.
Mrs. Turnbull, could this product of yours be consumed in any way?
Yes.
Might it be either eaten or taken as a liquid?
Yes.
Could it be eaten?
Yes.
Is it sweet?
Badly prepared, it could be.
In other words, then I may say it is not a confection.
No, that's right.
But it does have a sweet taste, I think.
Would it be eaten more at one meal, possibly, than at other meals of the day? Or might it, or let me change it, would it be more likely to be eaten between meals than at meals?
Possibly.
It's manufactured, you say?
Yes.
Does it contain any nuts?
No.
Unlike the panel, it does not. That's
I
3 down.
knew you'd
Seven to
come
go,
through,
Mr.
John.
Dallas.
Would it ever be served at a cocktail party?
No.
At least none that I ever knew. That makes it 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Gabel.
New Orleans is a great city for special foods. Is it particularly sort of a New Orleans food?
No.
That's 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Parker. And I'm going to nominate you for the Chamber of Commerce of New Orleans.
I'm plugging all America, John.
Is it an expensive delicacy? No.
6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Can it be bought, Mrs. Turnbull, at an ordinary delicatessen or grocery store?
Yes.
Does it come in a can?
Sometimes.
Is it eaten cold rather than hot?
Yes.
Does it contain any meat in it?
No.
7 down, 3 to go, Miss Gilgal.
Well, it's not nuts and it's not meat. Is it
Are
either...
you talking about... Oh, so that's perfect. All right.
I'm talking about the product, not the panel.
There's meat in the panel, I can tell you that, though.
Is it either fish, vegetables, or fruit?
No.
Yes.
Did you ever hear of halva, Miss Turnbull?
What can it be? Is your question, is it halva?
No.
Is it halva, yes. In desperation, is it halva?
9 down and 1 to go. Martin, I think we should explain. Halva is a candy, is it not?
That wasn't it been balanced.
Well, it's an amalgam of unrelated elements, let's say, as I recall.
But you'd buy it as a sort of a candy or
Yes, it is.
confection.
Sorry, John.
No, actually, I'm just, I think a lot of people would say, well, what is halva?
It's a Turkish delight.
A Turkish delight. It's a kind of a confection of candy. It isn't that, is it? No. Well, I've turned the card already. 9 down and 1 to go, Miss
No,
Parker.
that's only 8. You turned 2 cards.
I turned what? All right, Bennett, I'll take 1 back. That's how confident we
John,
are.
you're weakening through the years.
Miss Parker.
Mrs. Turnbull, does it contain flour?
Yes.
And butter?
No.
9 down and 1 to go, Mr. Sir.
Is it, if it contains flour, is it some kind of bread?
No.
10 down and no more to go at all. Mrs. Turnbull bakes cones for ice cream cones.
John,
Aren't cones sweet?
I don't know about you
said it was
folks down
sweet. We said
south,
it had
but
a sweet taste.
up north here, we have never heard of canned cones.
Oh, Martin, I've seen them delivered, and so have you. You think now, when you go out to a
50-pound
summer
drum.
place, they have a round can that has got, what, about 7 or 8 columns of cones, remember?
You're thinking of the cone at Columbia Pictures. These cans.
That was pretty coney, Mr. Sir. Actually, Mrs. Turnbull operates the Turnbull Cone Baking Company. And this is a business which you, I think, spent a good many years
My
in.
husband's family has
Your husband's family?
57 years.
57
What do you use
years.
in place of butter, Mrs. Turnbull?
Vegetable shortening.
Sorry, Martin. I thought of that myself, too. Thank you very much, Miss Turnbull. Nice to have you with us. And now we'll meet our mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our... And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger, for which, as you all know, the panel is always blindfolded. Blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes,
sir.
John.
Yes?
Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? All right. Panel, as you know, in this instance, the different form of questioning is used. You ask one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and let's begin the general questioning with Miss Parker.
Are you in the entertainment world?
Yes, I am.
Sir?
Have you... No, you only have 1 question.
You just get 1 shot at it on this run, Suzy. And it goes 1 question to each individual, and we move clockwise. Sir?
Have you ever distinguished yourself in motion pictures?
Well, I've been in pictures, but I don't think I distinguished myself.
Miss Gilgallen?
Have you been in the store club within the past 24 hours?
Well, I don't think so, no.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Are you principally a comedian?
Yes.
Miss Parker?
Is what you do, was it a childhood ambition?
Well, I wanted to be a delinquent, but couldn't, you know. No, it really wasn't.
That's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Sir.
Are you an American?
Yes, I am.
Miss Kilgallen?
Have you ever appeared on the legitimate stage in New York?
Yes, I have.
Mr. Gabel?
Have you a regular television show going?
No, and that's what makes me very unhappy.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Parker.
Are you in something right now that we could see if it wasn't Sunday night?
My wife has a photograph of me with her. And she doesn't show it on Sunday night.
No, I think to be sure we don't mislead you, I would assume here, Suzy, that you have reference to something that has been going on for some time and in which our guest would be appearing if it were not Sunday night. In other words, a weekday
That's
night.
right.
All right, that makes it 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Sir.
Are you in a motion picture that is at present playing the big theaters of the country or is about to play in the big theaters in the country?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
But would you say, taking all of your talents and all of your facets of your career into consideration, would you say you were better known for movies than anything else?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Are you better known for nightclubs than anything else?
Partially.
I would say that would be yes and no, Martin, and could be as well yes as no. Miss Parker?
Suzy?
Did you ever perform in vaudeville?
Yes.
As a baby?
Sir?
Is music connected with your performance in some way?
Just to bring me on and to take me off.
So that would really not be substantive. 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are you a cerebral type of comic rather than the stand-up one-liner type comedian?
Cerebral? No, I don't think I would be considered cerebral. No.
He's a good fun comic. 8 down and 2 to go, Mr. Gabel.
And you're not sick, of course.
I'm not well, but I'm not sick.
Alan King.
Right! Let me explain something before I get picked on. Suzy, I went to such lengths to answer your question because Alan is going to be on Gary Moore's show on Tuesday of this coming week. But it's a guest appearance, and he had not been on it last week, so I had to make sure that that's what you were talking about. You were talking about regular assignment. But he's going to be on Gary Moore's show next Tuesday, but he wasn't on last Tuesday.
John, I've admired Mr. King always, but I particularly admired him at the inauguration ball for President Kennedy, and I remembered that gravel tone, and I've been trying to place it ever since he said his first word here, and that's why I apologize for speaking out of turn, but I finally dug it.
Thank you, Martin. Thank
and
you
I must say, I go entirely with Martin on this. We went out to the inauguration gala, and it was a rough night, and that any of you ever got there was remarkable, but I don't think you need to be told that you were one of the great smash hits of the night.
Thank you. It was a night with snow, and I thought Admiral Byrd would show up instead of the audience.
They almost did. Thanks very much, Alan. Nice to have you with us. We'll be back right after this word from our... Well, doggone it, we run out of time again, so good night, Miss Kilgallen.
Good night, John. Good night, Morton.
Good night, Dorothy. Good night, Suzy.
Good night, Bennett.
All right, Suzy, you're even prettier than you are in your pictures. So are you, John. Good night.
Well, I wish I could say as much for you, Bennett, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us on What's My Line?
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Topman. 20 years of success for U.S. savings bonds. Buy an extra bond this month. It's an investment in your future and your country. Savings bonds, now better than ever.